How is it going, folks? It is a dark and stormy night. Your boy's pulling a double shift at work. Get it rolling right on location. Anyway, got some interesting videos I've seen recently. Another episode. Let's get it.
How are we calling anything a conspiracy in 2025? The CIA admitted to dosing people with LSD, and MK Ultra is real. UFO is being declassified by the Pentagon. It only took, 60 years and 80,000 pages to prove JFK was taken out by our own government? Hunter Biden's laptop was real, even though 51 intelligence officials told us it wasn't. The CIA admitted to putting certain substances into black neighborhoods in the 80s. They tried to get MLK to unalive himself. They faked events to get us into wars. Fully exposed. Never happened. Weapons of mass destruction. Gulf of Tonkin. Epstein apparently unalived himself, but the cameras just happened to stop working at that time. Ghislaine Maxwell convicted of trafficking nobody to nobody. Diddy is now allegedly running trafficking rings. Bill Gates funding mosquito-released vaccines. The Lahaina fires somehow skipped all of the rich land. So to the people who are calling others conspiracy theorists, you are not protecting the truth. I think you're just uncomfortable with how much of the truth is really coming to light.
And he hit the nail right on the head with that. Like, critical thinkers answer the questions that they have with the answer, why are these the questions that I have? And when you don't have the actual evidence of the truth of the matter, you use hypotheticals. Okay, so now your hypothesis, you try to find how many people can come up with that same hypothesis without seeing your initial opinion first. How many people are coming together collectively and having the same possibilities surrounding the same topic? And then you look into just how that would work, and boom, you have your answer most of the time.
I had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, I said, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? He said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, can you really tell me what's happening out there? He said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
I'm going to be very, very interested in the day that they finally said, without a doubt, release what has been going on in Area 51, because we've been speculating for decades, ever since the Roswell incident, on this matter. And it's real dope to become in the know about things that, smart people, free thinkers, critical thinkers already have an inkling, of existence. So when the world finds out all of this stuff is actually real, Imagine just how much smarter you're going to seem as a critical thinker and a free thinker who is right. You know, at this point, critical thinkers, conspiracy theorists are up 52-0 for like the last 4 years. So, you know, gotta give credit when it's due. I mean, I don't know what to call it. A lot of people want to go to these, instantly yell out the word drone. Like everything can be a drone, but like, bro, everything in the sky, one, isn't a drone because drones have only existed publicly for a few years. Secondly, some of the physics that these devices are applying is not physics that are supposed to be possible within our realm of reality. And then people just want to be like, oh, it's just this country or that country. They just stuff now. Like their stuff is just better than ours now. And it does that. That's how why I do that. And you just like, okay, so you're either someone who knows more about technology than I do, or you just want to be right in this particular back and forth. And I think we need to start deciphering which one of those people we're talking to before we even engage in conversation. It's anything to do with using your own brain. But if you ask me, that's a UFO.
Craziest things found under the ice on Earth. The Baltic Sea UFO. This was discovered on June 19, 2011, when Swedish treasure hunters using sonar detected a 70-meter wide disc-shaped object deep beneath the icy waters. Its metallic surface and unusual grooves sparked theories of a crashed spacecraft. Divers reported that their electronic devices would malfunction when near the object, as if it was emitting an unknown energy field. As you can also see, there is a clear pathway leading up to the object, almost as if it had crashed and slid across the sea floor. Otzi the Iceman. On September 19, 1991, Otzi the Iceman was discovered by two hikers in the Alps of northern Italy, frozen in the ice for over 5,300 years. His body was incredibly well preserved, along with his clothing, weapons, and even his last meal. Scientists later discovered that Otzi had 61 tattoos, carried a copper axe, which was a rare item for his time, and died from an arrow wound to the back, making him one of history's oldest unsolved murder mysteries.
I was sitting here trying to figure out what I was going to say about that. Interesting thing for me to know. I don't really have much of an opinion on it yet because this is my first time even hearing about the story. Just an interesting story.
Well, it's been another week in which the Trump regime has been going on and on about taking over Greenland. So what's the reason? What's behind it all? Well, have a look at this map. This is a map of a group of countries they called the Technate, which Elon Musk's grandfather, Joshua Haldeman, was involved in creating when he was the major player, or a major player at least, in a group called Technocracy Inc. in the 1930s. And it was operating, this Technocracy Inc., in Canada and the UK. Now note that this Technate runs from the north of South America, including Venezuela, up through Panama, which Trump has been threatening, the United States, Canada, which Trump wants to be the 51st US state, and, yes, Greenland. Just a coincidence, nothing to worry about.
Thoughts? Opinions? Leave them below in the comments and we'll get back to you.
Okay, what I'm going to share with you guys is what we know to be real and true. And when I tell you this, I urge you to not restrict your thinking to technology. We've been collecting UAP data for more than 5 years with electromechanical signaling. We call this our dog whistle. What the technology is classified. Generally speaking, we see 3 to 5 different classifications of UAP per day during operations. To make sense of our data, we had to develop a lexicon and we base it off of flight characteristics. Again, there are 9 different flights or classes, and some of these UAPs may be the same type of UAP under different flight configurations. But at this point, given their behavior, we are confident that they do not align with your typical extraterrestrial explanation. Again, each UAP has different characteristics. Some tumble, some spin, some flicker, some just look like a living being flying in the sky. UAPs are extremely hard to image. What is seen with the naked eye generally is not what is seen under camera, and we do not know why. Class 1 is the tetra. It usually spins, it tumbles, it looks like a black body. Sometimes it flickers multiple times per second. It appears to have a cloud or vapor around it. We've seen class 1s in formations up to 20 to 23 in a flock or formation. Classification 2 is known as a tic-tac, but I feel like I should go through classifications 2 through 9 in another video, so there will be a part 2.
Got the people in the uniforms telling you what. These are people that are going through top secret security clearance to understand what's going on to get this type of information, and they're telling you to your face. And I get it. Like, this is one of the things where in today's society, a lot of people have enough problems, you know, to worry about personally, like closer to home. And to add something like interdimensional alternate reality being stuff, it's kind of like it's too much to unpack to an extent. So I get it. But for those people that are going around continuously calling people crazy and all this stuff just because you aren't caught up to what's going on, or you have stake in everybody not figuring it out, you know, with whatever nefarious activity you got going on in the shadows. But like, we're paying extra close attention to y'all, just so you know.
He said that in a project that he was working on underground for the government, having to do with UFOs and ETs and the back engineering of technology, that he was introduced for the first time, that in the astral dimension that is encompassing our universe, there really are demons in the old classic Latin that are soulless, and that what they want more than anything else are souls. And that dimension is always trying to find a way to enter, penetrate this universe. And once they do, their only goal is to come up with some sort of a temptation of not just humans, of any consciousness in this universe that has soul. The demons want souls to get out, because souls are the only e-ticket out.
So some of that theory is definitely inside of my own particular religious beliefs. Some people don't believe in the or the metaphysical, but I'm gonna let you know right now, if energy can neither be created nor destroyed and it's only transferred, which is supposed to be a scientific fact, if you believe that fact, then you believe this energy is doing something. You know, if it's not returning to where it came from or anything like that. And we got way too many people that don't believe in the supernatural, is what I'll just say, just to use an umbrella term. We got too many people that don't believe in the supernatural, as if everything that exists in their perception now has always existed. So they should have already known it was going to exist or not going to exist or can't be real or anything like that. Got to stop thinking like that. Take note. If you find anybody that's allergic to any of that or don't like to be around any of that, moving around.
Yeah, now the other third type that got mentioned on Mission was reptilians. But every time that they were mentioned, it was really quickly hushed up by whoever else was on the other end of the line. Shut up, don't say that, is what they were doing.
They don't want to talk about the reptilians.
They don't want to talk about the reptilian presence at all. They would talk about the tall whites and the grays being in the lab environments. You know, not a lot, but some. But these reptilians, it was like nobody wanted to talk about it.
Was there any sort of an explanation did anybody give you of why they don't want to talk about it?
No. The only time I got any inkling was that when I, was out of the program and other people started to talk to me about all the different, things. And they're like, well, how many races are there? I don't know. But some people talked about the reptilians. They're like, do you realize that these are evil? And I had to listen to that.
And the thing is, we don't know if it's because of their appearance. You would assume something that's reptilian is maybe a demon or whatever. And a Nordic, where the blonde hair, blue eyed, is considered like an angel, or is it that's just our perception? Mm-hmm. But that's what you hear.
Well, yep. every reptile here is evil. Right? You ever seen a Komodo dragon eat a goat? It's horrific. They're fucking monsters. Every single reptile is a monster.
Yeah,
that's here. There's not one cuddly reptile you can hang out with, cuddles with you. He brings you your newspaper in the morning. No,
I thought that was funny because the lady's right? Like, my snake sleeps with me every night, and the guy says no. It's laying next to you because it's sizing you up for eventually a chance when it's going to eat you. I was like,
one day it's going to eat you. You have a monster that you feed. And as long as you keep feeding, it won't eat you. Yeah. People with pythons for pets.
Well, to give it some credibility, I did do some research after that person talked to me, because I did see that there is a reptilian race that is very malign like that. And they even have, according to what I read, this one race has a penchant for blood. For some reason, it's like a shark frenzy with them. They have
like a real reptile.
It's a euphoric experience for them. Yeah, a reptilian race that does that.
All I'm gonna say is, there's a reason I don't donate blood or plasma anymore. There's also a reason I can isolate and protect my energy. There's a lot of stuff going on around here that the only answer y'all have for it is people are crazy or shit happens. But are trying to get down to the bottom of why most of that shit happens, to be perfectly honest. And protecting your energy and all the things that make up your body is the first key.
Operation Sea Spray. In 1950, the Navy wanted to test the vulnerability of a city like San Francisco to a biological weapons attack in a project called Operation Sea Spray. To do so, they released two types of bacteria, Serratia marcescens and Bacillus globigii, into San Francisco Bay. The operation happened between September 20th and 27th, and the bacteria were released from a ship off the coast of San Francisco. It's said that they did this because they thought they would have been harmless to humans, but on October 11th, 11 residents checked into Stanford Hospital in San Francisco with very rare serious urinary tract infections. 10 of them recovered, but one man, who had had recent prostate surgery, died 3 weeks later from a heart valve infection. His relatives later tried to sue the government, but they lost because the bacteria used in the test was unproven to be responsible for his death. The urinary tract outbreak was so unusual that the Stanford doctors wrote it up for a medical journal. None of the other hospitals in the city reported similar spikes in cases, and all 11 victims had urinary tract infections following medical procedures, suggesting that the source of their infections was inside the
hospital. Cases of pneumonia in San Francisco also increased after Serratia marcescens was released, even though a causal relationship has not been established. Overall, the Army determined that San Francisco had received enough of a dose for nearly all of the city's 800,000 residents to inhale at least 5,000 of the particles, which is within the range of infectivity for anthrax.
That is not the only major operation carried out by organizations that we're supposed to trust that ended up fucking us all the way. So it's not far-fetched even to say that this is a true thing, especially when you can go and just look it up to confirm it yourself. Somebody would boldly come out and post a whole instance like this, but do your research, but let me know what you think about that.
Look, there's a gold one. Let's stomp its head in.
Do not fear me. I am Enoch, the Altrusian. Thank Vindok you've come to my aid, Rick Marshall.
You know me?
Of course. Even in the farthest reaches of the universe, we have seen your Matlower video. I am a prisoner in this land of the lost. Only you can help me escape. The fate of the universe depends on you.
Well, it's very flattering, Enoch. But I think you found the wrong guy.
No, Rick Marshall. I have summoned you here specifically to help me stop an evil madman who has already conquered my world, and now plans to conquer yours. His name is the Zarn.
I am the Zarn. Heed my warning or be destroyed.
The Zarn became obsessed with using the power of these crystals to conquer the universe. If he is not stopped, he will open a doorway to your world and lead his army of Sleestak on a rampage across time and space. He must be stopped.
Enoch, buddy. I'm a scientist, you're a scientist. I think together, you and I can figure this out.
You mustn't touch the crystals! The wrong manipulation of the crystals could turn time and space inside out.
What do you need from us?
The Zarn lacks only one thing to enact his evil plan. A device to amplify tachyons and unleash the full power of the crystals.
Well, Marshall's created a device that isolates tachyon interference.
Yeah, I did that.
Of course. With tachyon particles focused along the proper temporal vector, a stable passageway can be opened to any point in the space-time continuum.
You and I are so smart.
Rick.
Just to pull y'all in on why someone chose to use that movie for that clip. Enoch is in the Bible. It's one of the books that was taken out of the Bible, discredited, whatever you mean. Enoch is the person who's responsible for that book existing. So he was one of the prophets. And the book of Enoch, it talks about reptilians. So these little hints, when they drop these little Easter eggs in movies and stuff, I think some people like to think it's just pop culture, making our own interpretations of things, which fair, you know what I'm saying? I'll give you that. But at the same time, how many circles do you run without having an inkling of and only trusting information from the past before you start thinking for yourself and learn how to not run in that circle anymore, whether in your head or out in the real world?
Allegedly, this is what our world looks like beyond the ice walls. Humans, us, we're in this section right here. Personally, I believe that the elites are allowed to travel outside this layer and possibly outside this layer. Do you remember the movie where it talks about Asgard? Did you know Asgard's a real place? Past the ice wall? And God forbid anything bad happens in America. You know what I'm talking about. I ain't choosing no bunker. I'm gonna go across that ice wall because all the countries signed a treaty, and Antarctica is the land of peace. Check out this video. Comment below and let me know if you would go too.
I don't think any of us will ever to be able to rightfully question what the world looks like, what shape it is, what's actually here, all of that. None of us will actually travel and cover enough of the earth, be able to put it together in our brains to be able to even comprehend any of the information we would get back if we asked questions about the truth. You know what I'm saying? You can only confirm that space exists or doesn't if you travel high enough to go see for yourself. You can't find out the shape of the earth unless you have a spaceship that can fly around the entire globe. You'll never figure out everything because whatever you try to drive down there will get turned into a little crushed Coke can. So like, I think that's the biggest problem with conspiracy theories is people that call conspiracy theorists like kooks or like crazy people, they have already figured out how much is important to know for their life to keep going to go. And the people that go outside of that and question that, I think they feel like, oh, they just want to ruin everything. Like we're contrarians to the truth or something. And that actually couldn't be from a true statement because you can only have real 100% truth peace inside of knowing everything that there is, because you never know what piece you're interrupting or what piece you're disturbing anyway with yours being benefited. So
fuck yeah, I'm about to make y'all think real quick. All right, just think. If you a conspiracy theorist, this is for you. This is not for these overly religious motherfuckers who just believe everything that's handed to them. You probably realize that, you know, past 5 years, shit just been weird. I'm gonna say past 10 years because like the Mandela effect, the planes crashing, how fast technology is fucking rolling. And you remember back in 2012, if you over 30, you know what I'm talking about, where everybody was like, the world is going to end. And everything seems to have been resetted somehow. And then if you know anything about the Dark Ages, that little fraction of like a couple hundred years or something where it wasn't no recorded history, I just found some shit that makes sense to me. But you know, I don't just believe it just because I'm reading it, but it's something to think about. Let me show you. Hey, listen, y'all. Listen. The Dome and Outer Space Projection. The Last Reset, 1728. Listen, this book go over, look, fuck it. Chapter 1, Sunset of Ancestral Shores. And then it goes down here. Why would they lie to us? The false universe. Simulated outer space. Hold on. The 8 cycles of humanity and their respective resets. The first generation, fuck it, let's go to the first generation, 59. The first generation, after the reset of the first humanity of what, Hyperborea, Asgard, and the custodians, with the help of the Anunnaki. If you know anything about the custodians and the Anunnaki, you know what the fuck is happening here. Established a new civilization under their direct control. What happened after that? The second generation came. The second generation was created with the intention of being more obedient to the custodials. The third generation, look, all of this shit makes sense when you read it, bro, I'm telling you. The fifth generation, the fire of 1666, the battle of between Great Tartary and the Greys of Orion. Details of the projected simulation. I'm telling you right now, y'all, this book right here, if you one of those type of people, if you know that none of this shit is actually real, not saying God is not real, I'm just saying what we've been told is not the fucking move. Look, this book is less than like 150 pages. I'm gonna drop the link if y'all wanna read it.
I'm definitely gonna check out the book. One thing I want to say though is a lot of people need to start discerning between books and the truth, because there's plenty of genres of books where the truth is not in the story at all, or it's a made-up story. So let's not just say, "Oh, it's a book, it's all written right here." Like when you say stuff like that, you're just saying, "Oh, the person that wrote this has all the facts and all the keys to the universe." And too many science books and too many journal articles and stuff have been or banned or changed up for us to put all of our trust in books. And that's another thing conspiracy theorists are saying, is like, no, I don't know everything. I'm just saying, like, neither do these motherfuckers. Like, so how about we put our heads together and come up with something that makes more sense? Because with all the questions we have about what this motherfucker said, maybe that.
Have you guys seen this conspiracy of this guy saw like a giant? This is so weird. Okay, so this guy was driving and then there's a state park there with this big mountain. And he's like, what in the world? Looks like there's like a giant walking on the mountain. And so then he's just started pursuing it. Like, I need to find out what this is.
Yeah.
He tried to go up the state park road. There was a guy who claimed he was CIA and said the road's closed, turn around. But this car just kept on showing up at his house. And like he gets a video of like he like looks out the window. He runs outside, the car peels and just drives away. And then he like put out this statement, and it was almost like he was reading off of something like, hey, those videos I did,
I was just kidding.
Yeah, they're fake. I'm just kidding. And then he just disappears.
There's this guy like this behind the camera.
He's gone. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
Yes!
He's gone.
I heard it. Wait, gone?
They don't know where he is.
He's a missing person.
He's missing.
Oh my gosh, guys. Okay,
And
but wait,
presumed deceased.
Crazy story. Quick side note, I think it's very impressive how her baby is just sitting there while she's screaming and all of that stuff, and the baby is just chilling. My daughter would go banana while she naps. At that point, it just kind of seemed like the weather was just throwing fastballs through her window. Whoever pissed off the janitor at Hart to where he just waits till everybody's gone and he just starts pressing stuff on the weather machine, I'll stop, because we have had tornadoes, floods, hurricanes. I'm pretty sure we even had a tsunami at one point within the past 2 months. That's just ridiculous, man. Like, for real, though, like, that's ridiculous.
I somehow fell down the disturbing rabbit hole that is the Bob Ross theory. This theory is not for the faint of heart. It is also just completely a theory, completely not factual, all allegations. But it is super weird to think about. So the theory goes, Bob Ross was secretly a serial unaliver, and all of his landscape portraits, his happy little accidents, were the different places that he hid the people that are not around anymore due to him. And this theory came from the fact that a lot of the landscapes that he painted matched up with places that remains had been found. And also the timeline of things added up. For example, one was based in the summer of 1980. He went to go to visit a friend's wedding, and then coincidentally, in the summer of 1980, they found what was left of somebody hidden, not only in the location that he was in that summer, to a T was found in the exact location that he painted, in the exact landscape that he painted. There are several others. You are welcome to do your own deep dive. Like I said, none of this is fact, but coincidences are coincidences, and sometimes it just makes you wonder.
So that's one I can't jump on, simply due to confirmation bias. I love Bob Ross. I'm just going to say it like I don't believe he would do stuff that level. Now, what's also possible is that Bob Ross was painting the most beautiful places and landscapes and scenery, and other people feel the same way, and those are popular places, and maybe beautiful lives get ended in beautiful places. Or maybe he didn't know about any of that stuff at all. There's just always going to be bodies at beautiful places. Maybe.
Did you know that if a policeman gives you a ticket, cop pulls you over and gives you a ticket, that is called a ticket in commerce. And so if you go to buy something and you don't have the money and it's too expensive, you ask me to co-sign for you. Now if I co-sign for you to buy something and I co-sign on the ticket, that means if you don't pay it, I have to, right? Right. Therefore, when the cop gives you a ticket, he signs it first. It's called a ticket in commerce. Because money is going to change hands. Therefore, when you sign it, you are the co-signer of the ticket in commerce. Well, as a co-signer, you don't have to pay the ticket. You were just a co-signer, and you can decide, I don't think I want to pay that ticket. And then you send the ticket and the paperwork to the Secretary of State, and they then give it to the Attorney General. The Attorney General then sends it back to the cop, and the cop has to pay the ticket, because he's the one that signed it first. You were just a co-signer. But as long as you don't understand this, people don't understand the way banks and commerce works.
And government.
And religion, and it's all one big show. And if you're not licensed to play in the show, like George Carlin used to say, it's a big club and you ain't in it.
The truth is hidden in plain sight, and this is how they hide everything. If you are looking for the knowledge that has been hidden from us, if you want to know the meaning behind these symbols, if you want to know who controls the world, this ebook will literally unveil that to you, and ye shall know the truth, and truth shall set you free.
It hasn't just dawned on me, but it kind of just like reiterated itself within my mind. Realize like the closer you get to the truth of everything, the more money you have to spend in order to get that truth. I'm starting to notice it.
The real truth, you better wake up and find out, has been around you all of your life. You just didn't see it. Example, Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John Kennedy was elected to Congress 1946. Abe Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John Kennedy was elected president 1960. The names Lincoln and Kennedy both contain 7 letters. Both presidents were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both of the presidents' wives lost children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday in the head. President Lincoln's secretary was named Miss Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Miss Lincoln. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated Kennedy, in 1939. Both assassins were known by 3 names: John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald. Both names are comprised of 15 letters. President Lincoln was shot in a theater named Ford. Kennedy was shot in a car named Lincoln, made by Ford. John Wilkes Booth ran to a theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. Booth and Oswald were both assassinated before they could go to trial. And a week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland. A week before Kennedy was shot, he was with Marilyn Monroe.
The truth is hidden in plain sight, and this is how they hide everything. If you are looking for the knowledge that has been hidden from us, if you want to know the meaning behind these symbols, if you want to know who controls the world, this ebook will literally unveil that to you, and ye shall know the truth, and truth shall set you free.
See, so I'm not a purchaser of information. I don't buy information because, well, if I can't figure it out myself, then maybe I wasn't supposed to know it. That's one. But 2, if I'm paying for it, who's to say that it's real or not? People buy fake jewelry all the time. People buy knockoff accessories all the time. But they make it seem real. You see what I'm saying? The people that sell it make it seem real, or real enough that somebody would buy it. And that's the same thing I think people who sell information do. They make it seem for people to want.
Is $7.25 an hour, is that enough to live on in America in the year 2025?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I know Ranking Member Sanders asked the same question. I recognize that it hasn't been changed, the minimum wage.
I guess I'm just asking you, do you think that's enough for a worker to live on? I'm just trying to get a sense of your vision for what the standard of life for an American worker is.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, for every state, for every community, again, I mentioned Oregon. What happens in Portland doesn't happen in Grants Pass. It certainly doesn't happen.
I understand that about
Oregon,
but I guess I would ask you, what is $7.25 an hour? That is what in an annual term? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh,
it's not a math question.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get a sense of it. So it's about $15,000 a year.
Yeah.
So I guess I just want to ask you, do you think that there is a state in this country where someone can live comfortably on their own for $15,000 a year?
Well, I don't know if there is.
Is 50% of someone's salary too high in terms of what goes towards housing?
Well, again, depending on what the salary is, people can determine that. I mean, if I had to take a guess, you're wanting me to say yes or no. It's hard to guess on what people want to spend on their housing.
Do you believe that all American workers are entitled to paid leave?
Again, we don't have a federal paid leave.
Should we?
Well, that again, I know.
I'm just trying to get a sense of your vision. I get it. You're not a lawmaker anymore, but I'm just trying to get a sense of what you're going to be fighting for. What's your vision for the American worker?
Well, my vision for the American worker is to achieve the American dream.
I understand that, but is a part of the American dream paid leave for all workers?
Well, again, I cannot commit to you today that I would say 100% paid leave across the board.
I really fucking hate when people beat around the answer when they know what they know you're expecting a yes or a no, but they have to dive and maneuver through all the intricacies and play with the cinema of what things look like and the perception of what they're gonna say and Why don't you just fucking at least once? Why don't you just tell the truth? Like, why don't you just say yes or no? Like, is $15,000 enough for any person to live off of? 100% not. If the lowest rent, let's say a one bedroom, let's say the lowest one bedroom is in your state is maybe $900. If you make an hour, you basically making $1,000 to $1,500 a month. That comes out roughly to $12,000 to $17,000 a year. Then on top of gas and all of that stuff, like it's easy for her to give the right answer is what I'm saying. Like fucking no is the answer. No, you can't live off $7.25 minimum wage. You can't live off of $15,000 a year. Like, it's people that's, you know what? She knows she's stupid by now.
Things humans never meant to know.
A lot of the elites had their summer homes in Jekyll Island, including the Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, and the Morgans. And there's this one like a hidden gem, the venue called the Sidoni Mansion. It was built at the turn of the century by a dude who was buddies with all those guys mentioned right now. And he went on a hunting trip. He was hunting on this land that he ultimately ended up purchasing and building the Sidoni Mansion, which was originally a hunting lodge, but then just turned into their Christmas home. What's so strange about it is that they had this huge wealth, and he also had 5 children, which at the turn of the century, they say if you had that kind of money and that many children, you would have like hundreds of descendants today. But they have 3 living relatives. All the wealth is mysteriously gone. Every single family member, apart from one daughter, died in that house. And and they only went there for Christmas. There is something hidden there that's scary.
Hidden there that's scary. It's called a squatter. And I don't know how nobody put that together, that if they only went there for Christmas, but almost every member of the family died in that house, that somebody was. Y'all got a squatter in the house. Go in the attic, throw some flashbangs, and get them out. Dude, I'd be so jealous of animals in nature until I realize people go hunting, and I don't ever want to be on the receiving end of that. So where I'm at, but sometimes I'm jealous.
What Einstein said was this: if you don't have anything out in space, that's a flat space. If you were to take a planet, a ball, whatever it is, a rocket ship, and roll it, it would make a straight line in that space-time. Watch it up on the screen. I roll it, and it makes a straight line. But according to Einstein, if you go and have a star, that star will bend space-time in that extra dimension that you can't see. See, you can't see it bent up over there, but you can see it here. And that bent space-time, if you roll the ball, see, now it looks like it's going around and around that planet.
So that was science. I don't know if somebody didn't know that already. It's whatever. Something in my eye, and it's been bothering me for the last like 4 videos. So why do we put our hands up when we are trying to figure out if our eyes work right? Like, oh.
You will never hear me talk badly about parents who put leashes on their kids. Leash them motherfuckers up. Leash them little bitches up, okay? Oh my god, you're treating your child like an animal. It basically is, bitch, okay? My dog's more well behaved. My dog doesn't run off, but my toddler will. My toddler will. I was at the zoo today, just me and Marlo having a little girls' day, having fun, okay? And I lost her for 4 minutes, but it was the scariest 4 minutes of my life, okay? I almost became the next Harambe mom. That would have been a fucking nightmare. I could never, okay? We were at the play place. There was a little play area in the zoo, and I was parking the stroller, and I watched her with my fucking eyeballs walk in that play place. There's only one entry and one exit, so I was like, okay. So I took my backpack off, set it down, and walked in that building. Guess who wasn't in there? My daughter. I start running around this place yelling, Marlo, Marlo, Marlo. I even went up to the worker. I was like, have you seen a little girl with a pink skirt? And he even starts looking. So as a last resort, I walk back out to go back to the stroller and like retrace my steps. And she's standing right there by the stroller playing with the little cow noise machine. And I was like, where were you? And she was like, I was here the whole time. I guess when I put my backpack down, she walked around me and went right there, and I didn't even notice. That never would have happened if I would have had a leash. I bought a fucking leash today, okay? Because you're not going to see me crying on the news, oh my god, she was there 1 second, she wasn't. No, I'm leashing that little bitch. I am not losing her, okay? Judge me all you want, but I'm putting a leash on her. Fucking leash up them kids. Hashtag leash your kids. Leash 'em.
There was a lot there. there was a lot to consider within the funny part of that, which was kind of the whole thing.
If men are walking like this,
They're not running, they're walking.
yeah. Then doesn't that mean that women should be walk queen?
You're actually a gentleman.
Yeah.
Respect, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
You got this one.
Asking the tough questions, guys. Asking the tough questions.
Hey, don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out or looked down on. Just try your best. Try everything you can. And don't you worry what they tell themselves when you're away. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine.
Hey, I'll take a chopped and screwed alternative rock song a week.
This nigga satisfied. It's Satisfaction Jackson. It's Savor the Flavor Xavier. This nigga satisfied. Let me get a bite, bro. This nigga Yummy in the Tummy Montgomery.
If that's not the truest joke I've ever laughed at in my life, man, like, it's so many people that, like, we literally, it's a competition. It's an Olympic sport to roast. We call it joning. Look, she missed her brother, man. For real. This is how my sisters act when I come into town too, but there's nothing wrong with them. They just act like that because they're crazy. Look, I don't mind you being my pet and watching TV with me or waiting for my food scraps or, you know, just general, like, companion type stuff. But the minute you start rewinding shit in my house, the minute you start rewinding portable devices in my house, you're paying bills. You 100% are paying bills.
Yes, you can do it. You can do it. Just press it down. Voodoo, keep trying. Come on, Voodoo. I know you can do it. Keep trying.
That's a cat that doesn't have to pay bills. When you can me out, when you can, just show up when I need you and do the thing, you're good in my book. You're good in my book.
Yep. Straight. Let me know. Yep.
Man, that scared the shit out of me. I don't even want to go to sleep no more. Let me stay my ass up.
Yep. Straight. Let me know. Yep.
Man, that scared the shit out of me. I don't even want to go to sleep no more. Let me stay my ass up.
Damn, it's crazy how life be sometimes. 1 minute you got the money on, and the next minute the money on gone.
Hey, that's how it really is, though. Like, you'll be asleep. You'll be so tired on a car ride that you just, like, your body is just like, stop fighting. But when them road, and you hear that, bro, I'm up. Matter of fact, let me drive for the next 13 hours. That's all we got left, right? I'll drive. Literally about 60% of my childhood just ran across the screen in front of you before your very eyes. But, we try to only use memory or remembering like good feelings and stuff like that. So we try not to like obsess over it and things like that, because that's when you get those people, that were in their mid-20s and the 70s and they're still walking around in 2025 with bell bottoms, trying to keep their whole little, cult genre going. But I miss the 90s, you know what I'm saying? It was a great time, but it is over. I indulge in all my nostalgic activities simply to remind myself. I'm not a big person that continue to talk about how great the 90s was on the internet and stuff like that. I just remember it in my head because, I can enjoy it by myself in my head. The minute you put stuff out for the world and you want them to enjoy it too, you're always going to find somebody that wants to have a problem with something you said, did, felt, thought, ate, whatever. So, shout out to the 90s, early 2000s. But we in 2025 right now. So, we also 11 episodes into this show. Thank y'all for being here. See y'all for episode 12. Maybe we'll be back at the house. I don't know. At this point, I've been up for 18 hours. So my eyes burn. What I have said for the past hour, but hopefully some of it was something that would stick with you, make you think, or at least make you laugh. Anyway, I'm about to get back to it. I'll holler at y'all later.